Nick J. Francis trying to once again, Arsenal 1, Lens 2, or Lens 2, Arsenal 1, whichever way around you want to say it. That game was flat. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think, I'm not one of them fans that thinks we know better than the manager, but Bukayo Saka, we've been calling it. Everybody's been calling it. It's not rocket science. Everybody's been saying, slow down with him. He limped off the other day. Yes, people were going to say, oh, Saka wants to play. Of course, Saka wants to play. He's a player. Of course, he wants to play. Everybody wants to play. He's 22. Do you know what I'm saying? As a manager in his 40s, like with all the experience that you've got, it's your responsibility to say no. You know what I'm saying? Why have we got doctors and physios and managers and assistant managers and all that if a 22-year-old kid can just make a decision and then that's it? It don't make no sense to me. It don't make any sense. Half an hour he goes off. He got the assist, and games like today show why he forces him to play, because once he goes off, what else is there? What else is there to actually? There's nobody else. You know what I'm saying? Subs again, left too late. Once again, always the same. Always the same story. The substitutions left too late. 70 minutes in, their man are coming on with 20 minutes left. The defense. I mean, probably the worst game that Declan Rice has played for us. He didn't play badly, but it's the way he's been playing very well for us. That's the worst game he's played for us, even though he didn't play that badly. But the defense didn't seem to have any protection. Havertz starting in the eight against teams like this that are going to press you and be physical and be aggressive, counter attack against you. You know, he needs to stop playing. He needs to go. Like, I'm trying to support him, but it's very, very difficult to support my man. Like, I can't think of anything positive that he does. Like, he scored the penalty, cool. He's not kicking on. Body language looks like you don't really want to be there. It's moving. It's the longer it goes on, the more it looks like it's not confidence, and he just doesn't want to be there. It's not something that he wants to do. He doesn't want to be at the club. That's how it looks. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not in his mind, but that's how it looks. The last 10, 15 minutes maybe were good. In terms of like when they were camped in their box, we're attacking. Jesus and Ketia, Reece Nelson, Smith Rowe, we're just pushing them back, pushing them back, pushing them back. But we should have been able to do that all game. These men should not be able to play football against us. We do this to Premier League teams week in, week out, push them back onto the edge of their box. Why are we not able to do that against Lens? They're good, but they're not better than a lot of the teams that we've already played. You know what I'm saying? They're not better than Man United. They're not better than Tottenham. Do you know what I mean? And we don't let these teams come and play football against us. Like, it don't make no sense. It doesn't make any sense. That today was a real lack of intensity. We are much better than this team. It's not even a controversial statement to say that. It's not me saying we're going to win the league or win the treble. We're better than this team. But we don't have enough fight. We don't have more fight than this team. The biggest worry for me is that we look tired. It's only October, and we look tired already. We look like we need reinforcements. Yes, Partey's come back from injury. Timber's still out. Martinelli's out. But there's no excuse for some of our players to be looking as tired as they do. And the lack of rotations again from Mikel Arteta. Once again, the lack of rotation. We should have been able to rotate and beat this team 100%. This team was on a madness last year in the league, and then for their standard, and then they sold a lot of their best players. 2 or 3 of their best players are gone. This is their like Leicester season, the season after they won the league. Like, they're good, but they're not that good. We're showing this team too much respect to go and put off our starting 11 or close to our starting 11 out against Lens. That don't make any sense to me away from home. Don't make any sense to me. And the worst thing is, it's a gamble, and it hasn't. None of the gambles are paid off. We've come away with 0 points and an injured Bukayo Saka. What's the point? We'll still probably go through, but we've got City on Sunday. We need to build confidence. You know what I'm saying? We weren't even really playing football. The ball was up in the air. We were losing a lot of physical duels, a lot of physical battles. We were just outfought. Once again, outfought physically, outrun. That should never happen at top level club for us, like we are. That should never happen. Um, the defense, their goals were good. They did score good goals, but we allowed them to have too much. We allowed them to have too much of the ball. We allowed them to create too many chances. We did it to ourselves ultimately. We should have been able to control that game. At no point in the game did we look like we were in control. It always looked like a 50-50 game. Even if we won, it would have been a nicked 2-1 win. It was just a back and forth game, and not the kind of game that's going to make the team and the players feel comfortable. And we have the ability to be comfortable. Trossard is wasted out wide. He can do it again when we dominate the ball and we're pushing the teams back and they're camped in their box. That's when Trossard's effective. Open play, he's not an open play winger. He's not quick enough. He's not physical enough. He works hard. He's technically gifted, but not out wide. He needs to be central if that's the kind of game that we're playing. Jesus should be out there, Trossard in. In fact, Reece Nelson is, I don't know why he's not starting. He's a dedicated winger. He looks good whenever he comes on. He's a natural replacement for Saka. Saka should come off the bench and finish these games, not be starting the game. Trossard should not be starting on the left wing over Reece Nelson unless it's a game where we're going to dominate the ball. Arteta knows all of this stuff. I'm not saying I'm smarter than him or I know more than him, but this is stuff that he knows. Obviously I can't see everything that's going on in camp, but you know, Reece Nelson looks like he's getting back to his best. Smith Rowe looks like he's getting back to his best as well. That midfield is just depleted. Like we have Partey who's injured, and then we've got Havertz who's just dead. So it's like having two injuries. But Havertz plays like he's injured. Do you know what I'm saying? So we're basically two midfielders down. We have Rice, we have Odegaard. That's our midfield. The rest of it's gone. You know what I mean? We're missing Granit Xhaka right now. To be fair, we're missing a consistent 7 out of 10 in the midfield. We're missing that. And for me, I actually think the midfield is our biggest problem. We need to sort this out. Partey is going to come back from injury and play 2 or 3 games and get injured again. Who else have we got? We need to look. We've got Jorginho, who's been awful. The 2 or 3 times he's played this season, awful. Cost us 2 points against Spurs. Terrible. And then played okay midweek against Brentford in the Carabao Cup. It's not good enough. We need a midfielder. Definitely, we need a midfielder, box to box, or a central midfielder in January, 100%. And a striker, 100%. We've got no route to. We've got our main plan A, which is we're going to play around them and try and create cut passing lanes, and cool, we know that. We don't have a big man we can just put the balls into the box in late on, and Ivan Toney and Ollie Watkins. We don't have any of that. We play very, very good football, but it's very predictable, and the players don't seem to be allowed to just express themselves and have the IQ. Everything has to be set by the plan that we've laid out. Second game back in the Champions League, losing away to Lens, it's bullshit. It really is. Any positives? Reece Nelson and Smith Rowe look good when they came off the bench, as they always do. Fabio Vieira looked good in spells. Tomiyasu doesn't look up to pace yet. Anyway, now we're on positives. Positives. I don't see what we're going to do against City. Partly Havertz is good in the 9 because he's a target man that we can hit the ball up to, but also it just keeps him out of the way. Honestly, that's why that route 1 number 9 position is the best position for him, because he just stays out of the way. He just stays out of the way of the rest of it. Let the ballers ball, and you just stay up there. Do you know what I'm saying? And just keep out of the way. That's the best option for him. It's how we got a draw against City in 90 minutes and ultimately went on to win the game. And that might have to be what we go back to. I really don't know what we're going to do on Sunday. And if Saka starts, I'll be furious. Absolutely furious. I think we've got to have Reece Nelson starting up against Kyle Walker. And then Fabio Vieira, Trossard, Jesus. We can look at those options all wide. I would favour Nelson and Jesus out wide with Trossard in the middle, personally. Saka can come off the bench, but even if he trains well, recovers, and says, you know what, I'm ready, don't listen to him. He thought he was ready and he's not. He's 22 years old. He doesn't know what's best for him, bro. You know what I'm saying? He played 32 minutes, 31 minutes. He's holding his muscles like he's in pain. He needs more than a week to recover to go and play 2 more games again next week. Same mistakes. The same mistakes. We're not seeing. I want to be seeing this manager evolving. What we hoped was this season was an evolution. That's the word I've been using. Tactically flexible, a better, stronger squad that he can rotate and do different things with. And it seems like when he's nervous, he just reverts to type. He reverts to what he knows, and isn't brave enough. Very, very good football brain, but he needs to be braver. He needs to be more mature, and he needs to be braver. And he's robbing other players of having great moments, like Reece Nelson against Bournemouth last season, because he won't put them on the pitch. He's looking at Saka, he's looking at Martinelli, he's looking at Odegaard, and the rest of the team is just like, so long as those 3 are on, everyone else can chop and change. And it's not good enough. And it can start to shorten Saka's career. Do you know what I'm saying? we got City on Sunday. Everybody needs to rest, big rest, and he needs to think really deeply about what he does. Because if we put out a 4-3-3 with, if we start Nketiah up top, we're not winning. We're not winning. If we start Jesus up top with Nketiah out wide, we're not winning. If we start Havertz in the 8, we're not winning. Yeah, a lot of those things, then we're throwing away points. You know, so I want to see something different. He's got, you know, we've got a great squad with a lot of talented players. He has to think about something different and go outside of the box a little bit, because we're just not up to the level right now with the plan A. We're not up to the level to compete against City. We're just not. Now, they don't have Rodri. That can help, but we might be without Saka. We might be without Partey. We're definitely without Martinelli. And some of those things are not Arteta's fault, but some of them are. Do you know what I'm saying? And the things that are his fault, we have to hold him accountable for. And at the moment, if we go and lose to City because of the tactics that he's set up, he's got to take responsibility for that. And by the end of the season, we may well be back in a top 4 position, quarterfinal of the Champions League, etc. And if he can't learn from his mistakes, then he may end up needing to go at the end of the season. I'm not saying I want him to go, I want him to stay, I want him to be successful, but I'm just saying if he keeps making the same mistakes, it may be a case of, you've got us to this place. Now we need to bring in a more experienced manager, take us to that next level. I don't want to see that happen, but you know, you're taking our top prospects and running them into the ground and not being tactically flexible. We're too predictable. That's why Lons are able to do what they did today, because the opposition manager knew what the team was going to look like, how everyone is going to set up, and how we were going to try and play. This is not good enough.